It's time for the movie rating. Tonight's victim is director Riley Lorden, that is currently doing a Friday the 13th fan film called The Fall of Camp Blood. Hello.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Now, with this film, and of course, this is another fan film compared to all the, dozens of fan films that are just spawning everywhere. What makes you think, all these are just suddenly coming out of nowhere? Is this still because of the lawsuit, or you just think that finally people are just, when they take notice from somebody else that's doing this work, they I can do this too?
I think there's a big mix of all of that. For one, being the success of things like Never Hike Alone, and that fans do have the ability to make films like that, intrigue a lot of young filmmakers. You have the success of the video game that brought in a ton of new fans, and now the audience base is bigger than ever before, and it's just a big topic right now. And with the lawsuit, just people are doing anything they can to keep the franchise alive.
And that's fantastic, because that shows that fans still have the power of word. This is something they like doing, and this is something that they're going to perceive doing, and they don't care, legal or not, show everybody else in the world that, hey, we're going to be making some fan-made films, and I hope you like it as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're just passion projects, Nobody's able to profit off these films, something like that. So it's just fans taking their time and energy, not only those that are making the films, but those that are donating to them. It's just showing that they actually care, and lawsuit or not, Jason will never die. But, at the end of the day, with this lawsuit, there's so many loopholes to it, which is why these fan films can go out and do whatever they want. As long as they're not making a profit, as long as they're not actually using that IP to make money, you can do whatever you want, and that's exactly why these films keep coming.
Their film, having to, The Fall of Camp Blood, first of all, why make this title The Fall of Camp Blood per se?
In The Fall of Camp Blood, the title kind of explains the synopsis itself. It picks up after the event of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, 1 year later, and Camp Blood is officially being shut down. Camp Crystal Lake is a goner, and including all the rental cabins that are on the private property, they're really being destroyed. And before the demolition of the site, we have a group of teenagers that are going back to clear out their parents' cabin that was there. They realized pretty quickly why it was being shut down in the first place. So we have 3 of our top leads announced right now. We have a couple more in our back pocket that we haven't announced yet. We have Tasha Cartio as our main lead, as Courtney. We have Lorden Morton as one of our lead males, Marcus. Then, of course, we have Peter Anthony, who is also our producer, but is acting in the film as James Deere, who is the last remaining sibling of Rob and Sandra Deere. So Sandra from Part 2 and Rob from Part 4.
Very nice. Well, what about the composition? Are you sticking to the traditional composition as well, or are you going a different route with that?
So we were originally planning on going let's go with the old score, stay true to the original, but with bringing in Peter Anthony and having a producer like that who is determined to make things as great as possible, he reached out to composer C.J. Johnson, who gave us a hell of a deal. I can't thank him enough, and is officially composing the entire film. And he did some work last year on film for Blumhouse. He's a very legitimate, very true composer, and he's already put together some Q scores for us that are just fantastic.
Now, a lot of these films are going toward the modern era type of route, like with cell phones, the characters are using cell phones and so forth. Do you think this is moving forward is better, or should it stay close to the timeline and for better storytelling?
I think there's a place for both. And yeah, right now, it's tough to make a film look like it's from the 80s, right? So shooting in that time frame of this generation, again, it's nice for people that are new fans of the game, so they're already part of this generation, but it's also just keeping the franchise alive in that way. We were going to take that approach. We had a script plan originally called Reviving Camp Blood, so a little bit opposite of how we have it now. That takes place in 2018. But now we're taking place in 1985, 1 year after the events of Part 4. And while that's tricky, you have to make everything look like 1980s. For our story, it just works that way. I think there's a place for both. That was just a route we decided to take.
Is traditional really best for this franchise, or do you think succeed without the elements that it's already provided with?
The thing is, you have to still pay homage to the franchise that you're working with. We fill in a ton of Easter eggs. We're still true to what Jason is. We're not going to mess up that character, because that's who you love. That's who you want to see do his job, At the same time, you have to be original. Yeah, you have to find an original concept. You can't just throw around the same things, the same kills, the same characters. To be able to pay homage to the franchise while not just completely ripping it off and wasting everyone else's time. You want to still be able to make something new that people are going to respect, but you don't want to destroy the character that has already been created, that people already loved. So you just got to find a balance in between that.
Love Jason Voorhees as a whole, but so when having other fan films are doing there's some of them okay, he's wearing an army jacket or he's wearing this. You can bypass that as long as the rest of the story is pretty decent.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I don't like the look of Earth either. I think the jacket look in general doesn't really work too well, and that's something we've been really trying to get down right. And again, come back to Peter Anthony. He scooped us up one of the most amazing Undermask I've seen in terms of coming off a Human Part 4, and a Hawk to go along with it that will show the age, that 1 year difference from Part 4 to now. And we're really proud of it. We're super excited. We're going to hopefully show it off here in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's something that's really key. If Jason doesn't look good, you're instantly distracting your audience from the film, and you can't do that. I decided to play with this idea of taking place after Friday the 13th Part 4, that people are going to question, how does he look? What happened to that huge gash in his eye? How did that happen? And we're hoping that not only do we answer those questions, but the look of our Jason, it's noticeable. Like, you get what happened, and you know that those scars are still there.
Do you think this film is more attentive compared to some other films out there that's currently generating? You think this is more attentive toward the audience in terms of the sequels, or as a whole as Friday the 13th?
I would definitely say, even for all these fan films in general, that us fan filmmakers are doing it because we love it, we care for it. And a lot of people in the franchise so far, the directors that took those from jobs, it was nothing more than that. It was a job. And the thing about these fan films being passion projects, meaning we actually care. We know how Jason should look. We know what damage he took. We know every Easter egg you can possibly handle, what characters did what, and we're going to pay attention to that. I think that's where fan films can be just as exciting, if not more exciting, than actual sequels to the franchise itself.
And having to make a story for this, having to continue the story can just be a challenge just right there off the bat, because you can't just simply just lead it directly off of there and just repeat what the remaining of the franchise have been doing over the years. If you happen to just repeat that, it'll be just too repetitive. I mean, sure, everyone wants to see Jason just hack and slash, but at the same time, to me, I like to see an added flavor to this, good old classic type of character. And it's an icon, and this is something that's almost like, don't touch it, don't mess with it, but we do like to see anything surrounding what Jason could possibly do in other situations.
Right. It's really tricky when you want to try to pick, for one, where to pick up from, because if you're just following what we've seen last in terms of Friday the 13th, and it's like, all right, let's go to Earth 2 after Jason X. We don't really have much to go off anymore. So you have to make a choice when you're making these fan films, what sequels are still in play and what sequels aren't. For us, naturally we threw away 5 and on, so we're picking up after 4. But you have things like Vengeance picking up 30 years after 6 and things like that. It's a choice and it's a risk, but at the end of the day, it's what you got to do to make your story still make sense. That's why the Friday the 13th franchise ended up in such a really weird timeline in the first place, because people stopped caring. They were making sequels like, Jason Takes My Hand tries to follow 7, but Jason Goes to Hell doesn't make any sense. Jason X doesn't make any sense. Freddy vs. Jason doesn't make any sense. They just kind of start and end, and there's nothing really explaining where they came from in the midst of that.
Yeah, I agree, because what they did with these, okay, I see with these other companies like Jason Goes to Hell, okay, I see that they're trying to add a new element that we have never really actually seen what Jason does, which is okay. I don't mind Jason Goes to Hell in terms of what he does, but at the same time, guess what? We don't see Jason Voorhees. We just see him possessing other people, I guess. But it's really odd, and of course, Jason X, that believe it or not, no one wants to talk about Jason X. I'm sorry. No disrespectful, but yeah, that's just another element that, again, it's about a distraction. Let's see if we can just do this way, and nobody's going to really pay attention to this, and it doesn't work, man. It just does not work that way. You can't just add different elements to it and not make it work that way.
Right. No, I 100% agree. There's a reason that films like Part 6 and Part 4 tend to be the favorite, and that comes down to, one, they paid respect to the story that they're coming from, and not only that, they also cared about their characters. It wasn't just Jason killing people. We had a protagonist to follow at the same time, and that's really key in films like this. That's something that we pay attention to a lot as well, is that, hey, this can't just be Jason going around and killing slutty teenagers, right? Like, we need to care about these people, because without that, without caring about a protagonist, there is no suspense, and the film at the end of the day is just boring.
Yeah, definitely. You didn't I also mentioned the location. Where's the location going to be out for this film?
It is taking place primarily in Wessex County at Camp Crystal Lake, but in terms of where we're filming, it'll be in southern Wisconsin. But yeah, it will be taking place in Wessex County in Camp Crystal Lake.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And that's another thing. As long as location, make it at least look decent to the point where it is at Camp Crystal Lake or something similar to it. That's another crucial thing. If you just make it look like in a completely different area, it's like, again, it's another, when we talk about distraction again, it's like you put in a completely different area that doesn't have any kind of similarity. I understand you're toying with it, but at the same time, you're veering away from what Jason is here.
We knew that as well. We wanted to do that at Camp Crystal Lake, but at the same time, we didn't want to just be stuck there. And that's where Peter Anson's character, James Sear, comes into play, because we're able to move in and out of Camp Crystal Lake and still tell an interesting story at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely look forward to it. And as far as this Kickstarter go, are you still doing the Kickstarter, or are you still trying to reach your goal, or did you reach past that goal?
The time we are talking right now, there are 7 days to go. Our goal was $10,000, and right now, today, we did $21,000. So I can't thank fans enough. It's amazing. Everyone's been sharing, and we've had some huge donors come in and really change the game here. And the thing is, our script is driven off of extensive amount of practical effects as well as traditional filmmaking elements. So we had to have a budget to make that work, and with hitting over $20,000, we're in pretty good shape with that. But we still have quite a few awesome things left on our Kickstarter, including some screen accurate masks. We still have 5 of those left, and then we have machetes left, signed machetes available. Only 13 of those available. And then we have some missing person flyers that I think are really cool. I think we only have 7 of those left right now, and those are awesome. You actually have your face on a missing person flyer in the film that we will have one of our main characters actually interact with. That's one of our favorite tiers. We hope people can scoop those up before they're gone.
Go ahead and plug in any websites or anything that related to this film, or anything that you'd like to throw out there that people can check out right now.
Well, for one, anything in the fall of Camp Blood, you can find us. We have a Facebook group, a fan group. You can find Slashcast on Twitter or on YouTube. And we also are on Instagram, both Slashcast and the Fall Camp Blood. And again, we're still on Kickstarter. Simple as looking up the Fall Camp Blood Kickstarter on Google will bring you there. And I'm sure you'll see it across social media as well.
Well, when you think we can expect this? In another year or so to get it rolling, or at least hopefully on DVD, or do you think you plan to get that any sooner?
The thing is, this Kickstarter run we're doing right now is a Blu-ray run, so Blu-rays are available too in physical media. And we're planning a pretty quick turnaround. We go back to production on July 26th, and we're hoping to be completely wrapped in principal photography by mid-August. And then I'd like to turn it around and get it to our backers, those who got Blu-rays, DVDs, things like that, as early as December. And then it'll come for free later on YouTube. Ideally, we'd like to hit March 13th. We'd like to land right on that 13th in March for a full release.
Very nice. And that is Riley Lorden, director.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.